Hey everyone, and welcome back to Master Sight. Today I have game three of Battles and Beers, a final round with our scouting Sylvan list. And we're going to be facing off against Stephen DeRose and his Salamanders that he's trying out. And the fun part about this is we both got scouts, baby. So we're going to go ahead, dive into the list, and have some fun. So, Steven's Salamander list, he has two hordes of Ceremonial Guard, both with Effigy of Fire, Staying Stone, and Dwarven Ale. Two hordes of Tyrants, again, Effigy of Fires, one with J Boots, the other with Sharpness. Those are scary. He's got three regiments of Ember Sprites. He has two Phoenixes. He has a Herald with the loot. And he has two Scorch Wings, one Fire Oil because 5 points. Oh, and he also has the formation, which scouts. So the character and the two regiments and the formation scout, the three Ember Sprite scouts. So he has 6 scouting units, but I haven't beat. I have 13 scouting units. So, but he comes out to 15 drops, 29 unit strength, which is pretty good. So the scenario we're playing is Raze, which I think is actually a pretty good scenario for me. Started out with the best scenario, went to the worst one. Now I think we're finishing strong with another good one. So here is Steven, and here is our deployments before scouting. So, let's see here. So Steven has ceremonial guard, horde of tyrants with sharpness. This one has J boots. These tree thingies are his skylords. The fire breath guys, those are his phoenixes. This is his formation with the formation character and the 3 ember sprites. He also has the other Herald, BSB, whatever it is back there. For me, I have my Forest Warden with nothing on him way out here. Look, there's a token for him to go burn. Then I put Regiment of Forest Guard, both the Glade Stalkers, the Tree Lord, Tree Herder. There's too many tree things. I forget what the names of all the trees are. Regiment, Troop of Boss Race. I know the Boss Race. They're the real thing, the real MVPs. So, Horde with Awakened Guardians, Wilt Daddy, the BS or Bane chanting guy, the other horde with where's that character? I think he's over here too. I think that there he is. That's the individual character, the horde, the individual, and the other wraiths. This is the Nimbo one back here. So I will say in this scenario or this game, the Scrying Gym did great. We were outdropped, but Scrying Gym brought that back in our favor. And I think it really limited Steven's options in the pre-deployment. He knows that I have more scout. He knows he's getting outdropped when I rolled the max, so I rolled the 3 on the D3. So he chose sides, and he had to deploy 4 units right away before I deploy anything, and that's a big deal. And then for the scouting side of things, I did some of the scouting, like the Herald off to the far left, and then a couple of these units just moved up onto the hill here, and we'll see. And his scouting was a lot more aggressive. He just said, we'll just go forward. And he did. So this is where I swear I almost failed. I almost failed the objective. I was these 3 units were like the last 3 scouts that I had left to do. and I almost left them back outside of the charge range, because he has speed 5 and he has wild charge 2 here. So I was considering, because I have 14-inch charge threat, I have 13 to 15-inch charge threat, so I don't have to go up and be within his range. But you know what? That's no fun, because then I would have been in my own deployment zone, and that is not where we want to be. So, so I scouted the full distance forward, and said, "Screw it, we're just going for gold, and hope we get first turn." But you'll also see my scouts over here. I was coming around the building. Nimble Tree Herder. So after he's done scouting these units here, Tree Herder went forward, boop, turn in towards the center here, and then yeah. So first turn flank charge. Now that's gonna be a new record. That's a new one for us. So um, at least top of turn one flank charge. We already got a bottom of turn one flank charge in the first game, but yeah, let's go for the top of turn one flank charge. And yeah, the Wilt Daddy and these guys just created the line. Again, these guys, I couldn't get them in a good spot outside the deployment zone on the left, so I just said, screw it, we'll go to the right. This guy, he went a little more aggressive. My thought is, if I get first turn, I can shoot through the gap here, charge his character, um, which my guy actually is pretty brutal. He has a reasonable shot to kill him, and even if I don't kill him, this horde, I'm outside of the front arc of that horde. So yeah, it was just something I was thinking. What the hell? What the hell? We might as well go for some fun. And he's in not a too dangerous spot. His horde can't charge me. The tyrants are out of range, so it's really not a threatening position for me to go out there. So yeah, big roll to first turn, and nope, we didn't get it, guys. We did not get first turn. Unfortunate. Uh, so all of our aggressive moves do not pay off for us, but I mean, there's still options. So he gets first turn charges, so he moves up on the hill, brings both the units up on the hill, brings these guys forward. He's shooting at, I believe it's this regiment here for the turn. He triple charged this regiment, which I made a mistake here. The regiment's not inspired, but it is rallied. So it's a 16-18 right now. But these two regiments, they have Pathfinder from this guy. They're hitting on 4s with elite, 12 attacks each. So, that's 12 hits, about 14 hits or so. They're wounding on 3s. So we'll say it's roughly like 9, 10 wounds. And then the character has 3 attacks and 3s with the lead, wounding on 2s. So we'll say it's going to be like, 11-ish wounds is probably 11 to 12. It's probably right around there for averages. And because I'm not inspired, I don't like those odds. Yeah, if these guys hold, we got a flank charge here. Wilt Daddy, tough to see his base, but he's in front arc, got a flank charge there. So we really want to hold, and then we can just collapse in like we were trying to do with after our scouting moves anyway. Um, yeah, and then you can see he just brought chaff, and he charged the character, charged this horde, charged the troop, hindered, charged there. He was just blocking stuff up. But Wilt Daddy, the Wilt Daddy is angled in such a way where only this unit of Ember Sprites, which was roughly right here, could charge him in the front. So it was the only one that could block up one of those two units. The other ones were in his flank. So uh, Steven chose that unit to block up and left Wilt Daddy on his own. So yeah, shooting is pretty darn good. Steven does 7 wounds to this regiment, even with the cover and everything. And he wavers the regiment. So that shooting is painful. Um, he shot a lot better than I was expecting. So that's unfortunate. Luckily, this troop is just within 12 inches, so I was going to use this regiment to block these guys up because his tyrants are so close behind to be on the hill that I think just charging this unit is going to block up the tyrants behind it effectively too. Um, and boy, do we get lucky. So I think Steven did roughly 10 wounds here. So maybe one or two shy of the average, but we do hold, and then we come in and we get the double flank. So yeah, I mean, turn one, I think we're gonna kill some stuff, boys. That's our goal here. So over here, we took that troop in. Um, these guys they shot at the tyrants. We his Skylord whiffed. It only hit like one time and then failed to wound me too. So my guy's completely fresh. So yeah, I go countercharge back into him. We countercharge everywhere else. So we kill both regiments. This guy reforms this way to the left, keeping all those guys in his front. And Wilt Daddy reforms this way to look at the horde. That horde is outside of range to charge us here. The troop ran forward, and then these guys reformed. We killed the character. Like I said, it was basically 7 attacks hitting on twos with elite. It's 7 hits. So then we're wounding on threes, so it was like 4 or 5 wounds is what we rolled. And they're only in 11-13. So we got lucky. Yeah. And that leaves this half of the board without inspiring now, too, which is big. But you'll notice where we didn't get lucky is on this unit of Ember Sprites. I I got 3 hits out of 18 attacks on fours. That was a little rough one. So we spiked good rolls some places, we rolled bad others. Our other troop killed the other ones back there. So we killed almost everything that charged us turn one. And we haven't lost anything, so that's always good. So that, and then you'll see the Forest Warden has to sit around for a turn because that was only turn one. We can burn the token next turn. So yeah, top of two going for Steven. And he charges with the Skylord guy. Yeah. These guys already have 7 wounds, so why not? Although I think they might have been out of range to Radiance. This one's gotten the Radiance from the big guy here. And then he moved forward like so to shoot. Oh, that's what's missing. This is after shooting. You'll notice I had a Glade Stalker unit here. It was stealthy too. He moved up 2 Phoenixes and shot it. No cover because he's tall enough, but stealthy. He doesn't care. He did like 8 wounds, 9 wounds to me, and he picks them up. And it's like, oh, okay. So Steven's shooting is on point today. Yeah. So this is how it's looking. But you know what's not on point today? Steven's nerve rolls for combats. 13 wounds. Snake Eyes twice. He rolled Snake Eyes. That means Jello shots. All right. But what's worse than one Snake Eyes is when you roll a second one immediately after on a devastated troop of Glade Stalkers. Oh boy. That's just a rough one. And it's turn two. Um so I felt bad for Steven because I looked at both of those and I think he was thinking the same thing. It's like that's just the game, isn't it? Because this one's worse. We'll take a look here. That's Wilt Father in the flank of that horde. These guys are in range. This troop's in range. Like I have 4 or 5 chart. Like this troop's even in the flank and in range if I really wanted to. Um, that is just heartbreaking. If he breaks this and just does a slight turn, everything stays in the front. He limits. I could still probably do a triple or maybe a quadruple charge. Um, but if everything's in the front, that's not guaranteed by any means. And he ran over his inspiring from this side over to this side. Uh, yeah, so that is just brutal. I feel bad for Steven here. This is not. It's just not that fun. It's not exactly how you want to have a game go, whether it's for you or against you. So, um, and then to continue with the bad luck, this guy, just like his other brother on the other side, did 0 wounds. So Steven rolls up, has like 3 hits to wound, 1 1 2. I I don't know what's going on here, but it's a little ridiculous at this point. So turn two, Steven's dice. I mean, his shooting excellent. His other dice shit the bed. So, I mean, Steven still has a smile on his face. So just a great game. Steve and I haven't played for a while, but I mean, we're pretty close. He's in Des Moines. I'm in Omaha. It's only like 2.5 hours away from each other. So, but we were talking. We're like, well, he runs an event. I run an event. There's very few events that we both go to that we're both playing in, and when that happens, we just haven't played each other uh, recently anyway. So it was nice to be able to get a game in, but this is unfortunately getting out of control. So here's what we do. Um, that guy stayed there to burn the token. I countercharge here. We double charge here. The Radiance of Life brings us back from Devastation. So we get our full 10 attacks for that troop. um, I ran this troop forward just through the forest to burn the other token. And then we flanked front charged here. I flanked this Ember Sprite unit because I can't afford to not kill it again. Um, and now we don't repay our opponent's bad dice with our own bad dice. We get good dice. We killed this guy again. I mean, I guess he didn't even shut off our Thunderous, so we're hitting on threes with elite, wounding on threes with 12 attacks. So I mean, that's probably good 6 wounds on average. But I mean, our nerve rolls did not reciprocate. We murdered his Skylord. Um, yeah, we just do some damage there. We're held up on this individual back here still. I think he might have wavered me this last turn. I forget exactly. But no big surprise, we do murder that horde of ceremonial guard and turn to face, overrun with the troop, and burn the last token. So it's not very often that I can say, I don't think it's ever happened for me or against me, but having all 3 Raze tokens burned on turn 2 when it's eligible, that is that is a feat. Um, and that, yeah, it's crazy. So this is how we're sitting, and I mean, Steven still has tyrants, so it's not over. But I like my odds with the tyrants to the front of Wilt Father. This is the J boot ones, so they're only hit me on 4s. He does have a Bane chant right there, so it's gonna hurt, but I mean, statistically I should hold. So Steven's turn looks like this. He flies these 2 over, shoots my Forest Guard regiment off in the face, kills them. He countercharges the tree. He realizes there's no way he's getting into combats with these guys, so he actually sidesteps with this. He's setting it up so the next turn he can just run straight forward and still get a charge off. So, um, yeah, he killed this regiment too with his individual. But the big thing was Wilt Daddy help. So, and then this is after our reform. I flanked front with Wilt Daddy. I think I brought these guys in the front too. It was just a massacre. I think we killed his individual as well with the horde coming off the hill. So yeah, we just murdered. That's what we did. And then we held on over there, just grinding away. So Steven's turn 4, top of 4. Yep. Oh, and my guy was coming over. He's not the dead pile. He's coming over. So he gets a double charge on the tree. He shoots. He goes and burns 1 token. He shoots at the troop. His other 2 tokens are over here, so I feel pretty safe, pretty confident. Yep. So his shooting takes off the troop. His combat takes off uh, the guy, the tree herder, which I expected. We were had decent amount of wounds from the previous turn still on us. So yeah, so this is how it looks going into bottom 4, and we just only one thing was in range of this horde, and that's this troop. So we go ahead and take that. We run Wilt Daddy forward to get a cloak of death going. Everybody else moves forward. I surge this unit to get it a little bit further. Yeah, all that good stuff. Was debating charging the flank of the tyrants. They have 2 wounds on them, I think, from the archers from early on. But I went ahead and shut off his phoenix for now. I didn't want him healing and shooting other little stuff. So, yeah, so we do a little bit of damage there, but he double charges that troop and ends up positioned like so on top 5. And he charged this unit, did a wound at least, so I'm not able to run through him. So this is a little bit of a tight corridor, and this is actually where there's a good tactic I wanted to call out here. So currently, Wilt Daddy's in the flank of the tyrants, so I can't charge the tyrants with him. This unit took a wound, so they can't charge through the individual. And then this troop is also in the flank. So the only thing in the front is this horde, and where is and my individual over here, who is just in range. So this is a fun little puzzle basically for you here. So basically, looking at it, if I charge Wilt Daddy in, I want to do a double charge. This unit's pretty well injured, but I want to do a double charge. Looked at it. If I do a double charge, there's no way this unit gets around and fits in here. So I look, okay, well, what if Wilt Daddy just does a single charge? Again, it gives me more room, but still blocked off. So what I end up having to do is I do a single charge with Wilt Daddy into the horde. I back off this horde as far as it would go, and then this unit, which was, you'll see, angled to go past, is able to go past and complete the charge. So then on my shooting phase, this guy's just going to surge this horde back in to finish off the individual, and our individual went in for a double charge over here. So, surge tactics. I mean, I've played a lot of EOD. I've shown off kind of what it can and can't do on this channel several times with the EOD lists I usually take. This is just one of those instances where it may not be terribly obvious, but it's those cool little maneuvers that allow you to get out of those tricky situations that sometimes you're put into. So yeah, so that's what we end up doing. We do get the surge. We charge back. Charge back in over here. He countercharged me last turn, but Phoenixes only have three attacks, so we get the surge. He's already up to 4 wounds. We pick up the individual, we pick up the horde, and we pick up the tyrants as well. So overrun and then sidestep, because this guy's still at 13 wounds. So try to keep him alive, I guess, if we can. And the last things left to kill are height 6 stuff. So it's not like this actually saves us. He can still shoot at us if he wants. Um, but yeah, so top six. Oh, Steven's not looking happy now. No, I'm just kidding. So Steven has two these guys left, so he just fronts and rear charges and says, "Screw it, let's go for it." He does kill it. Reforms like so. Bottom six, I double charge, kill it, and that's where the game ends. So, um, yeah, so good game. It was one where, like we said, top of turn two, he had back to back snake eyes. He had a character that completely whiffed on a unit that had Thunderous Charge. And then I didn't just completely shit the bed the next turn. In fact, I did extremely well on the next turn, I'd say. So that huge swing on turn two is just backbreaking. There's really no coming back from it. And I think Steve and I both knew that, so we kind of sped through the rest of this game. Um, it's unfortunate when it happens, but you know, dice are dice, and I've I've definitely been on the opposite end of that, so I don't envy Steven. But I do really like his list. I think it's a lot of fun, and you know, it's this type of event that Jason runs. Really encourages people to try something out new, like the scouting list that I have. What Steven's playing around with here. Stevens obviously has some of the models already for this, but you know, he's considering this being potentially a next army he's going to play. So what better place to test it out than at a 1 day event like this? So yeah, that's where the tournament ends. You know, I'm extremely happy with a 2-1, uh, 2-1 at the end of this. And we accomplished all of our goals: turn one charges and kills, and nothing in our deployment zone. All three games. Extremely happy. Although we maybe played suboptimally on some of the missions in some situations by adhering to those unnecessary rules. But you know what? They were necessary. We had fun. So it was a great event. Jason really does have one of the best setups for this. You know, I strongly recommend if anybody is around the Twin Cities area to come check it out, come play with us. And even if you're not, it's actually one that I would recommend traveling for, even from a longer distance. A lot of people only travel for 2 day GTs, but this 1 day environment really allows you to have fun, play the three games you're playing, but then really kind of let loose. And there were a lot of jello shots, there were edibles, there was a lot of fun that was had after this, after these games. So in results, Travis Tim took first overall, best general, with a Northern Alliance list, and then it was Jeff Shulkin took second place. Who was he was those two were the undefeated players, and Travis was only one battle point ahead. Um, then then Philip obviously took that painting award with his troop of centaurs, and then sportsmanship went to Neil, who's a Twin City guy that has been away from the game for a while, but he was back at Lady and he was here, so it's really great seeing him. But yeah, that is all for the games I have for you. I really appreciate you guys watching this one. I know this is definitely a change of pace. Try to keep it still tactical, but also have a lot of fun with the uniqueness of this list. And it's one that I probably won't be playing again anytime soon, but I'll definitely keep it on the back burner. And if you guys really liked it and want to see more of it, let me know in the comments, and maybe I will bring it out for an event sometime in the future. So appreciate everybody that was watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.